Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Dark Souls 2 walkthrough. We are now back in Majula, and I can't speak. I'm not drunk, folks, I'm just slurring because my tongue's fat. But we're now back here doing a little bit of maintenance. Anybody who's familiar with my guides knows that I remove a lot of my maintenance. You know, the only reason I leave a lot of this in certain areas is so that people can get an overview of where I am at that point, if they want to copy my build, you know, verbatim. Which a lot of people do, which is kind of surprising. I always thought people would use, you know, walkthroughs as a reference. You know, see somebody do it, get the confidence to know you can do it too, because they can, and then do it, kind of thing. But a lot of people are really, you know, attentive to details, and they want it all. They want to know what this is, what that is. So, for those people, I've left in these parts where I'm adding infusion to one of my maces, and I'm infusing it with the Dark Knight Stone so that it will scale off my intelligence and faith. At this moment in time, I still wasn't too aware of the scaling and how it worked, so if you infuse both of them with Dark, you will probably get the most powerful maces you can use, but I decided to have one non-infused and the other one infused so that I could buff the non-infused one, and I would have both physical damage and dark damage. And in the back of my mind, it was due to Nishandra. I was kind of worried about Nishandra. That right there was for the people who are interested in my level. I put it up so that you could pause the video and check it out, just to see where I am. I think I'm level 91, and the stats that I'm on right now are the stats that I end up beating the game with. So it gives you a lot of flexibility if you're struggling to go higher, and to just increase the stats that I've been increasing. One thing I have noticed is my adaptability is lower than I usually stop at. This was at the time when I was experimenting with adaptability. I still think it's the best stat on the game because it makes rolling easier, and anything that makes rolling easier to me is the most important stat.
Are you going to see the old ones? Those four who have grown so incredibly ancient.
And I just can't overstate how much I enjoy being able to roll through attacks like it's Dark Souls 1. But we're in Sinner's Rise. This place is very dangerous. I've already opened it up before, but I'm doing this to show people, again, how to get shit done, because there's a lot of undead citizens here, and there's also a lot of those enhanced undeads, which, Jesus, there is something wrong with those giant monsters. They one-shot like beasts, and they do jump attacks that cover about 7 million years. It's just such a strange enemy, and it's got 1 million drops as well, so you have to farm them, and there's only, what, is it 4 in the entire game? 3 here and 1 in Aldea's Keep. Such a strange enemy. And if you're wondering what he drops the Chaos Rapier for some bizarre reason. He drops the Bellkeeper's Bow, which doesn't make any sense. And he also drops the Malformed Skull, I think it is. Or one of them. It's just one of those things where, why does he have so many unique drops? It just doesn't make any sense. He's essentially just a huge tumor, like a big old KFC drumstick with a bit of a face on and like a scorpion club tail. Very strange. But my strategy for this is literally just to drop down and lure them out, take them out one by one. Scraps of Life is really good here because you can use it to just get them all as they run towards you. The only problem with relying on Scraps of Life is that very rare occasion where it does absolutely fuck all and you get bummed, which happens to me a lot. And PvP is, because of the lag, Scraps of Life is so powerful at flattening dudes as well. I love it. But another fantastic choice here, if you don't want to mess with anything, is pull this switch and immediately throw an alluring skull. If you do it correctly, you can lure all the citizens away from you and you can just run up through here. And if you die against the Sinner, you can just run past everything, because you can run from the elevator to the boss fog. And this will be quite interesting to see this, because this is at the point where I wasn't very comfortable with the Sinner. And I've just finished my boss analysis of her, so I'm much more competent at fighting her now. So we'll see how I do anyway. And as you can tell already, she's killed me, which every single time you see me, oop, I get hit there, every single time you see a retrieval tells you that I died on the boss fight. And with Ornstein killed me, someone else definitely killed me, and the Sinners killed me apparently, so you can tell the bosses that for whatever reason. I mean, Ornstein was bullshit, man. I should have probably kept that death in just to see it, because it was one of those moments where he stun-locked me and I couldn't get out with that triple hit poke he does. Oh, what? Come now, Dark Souls, with that huge sword, wide swing, dodgy hitbox bullshit. Like, I was lucky then, because the one thing I didn't realise until I really started to study this boss was just how long that sword is. Like, for it to be as long as it is, this boss has so many wide swings. And it's so funny, because when you get that weapon, it doesn't have any wide swings. It's stupid. Like that, the poke. The Lost Sinner sword poke is the most prolific move that she does. And when you get that weapon, it doesn't have a poke. It's just dumb. But what it does have, that's a parry stance. Do not attack her when she does that. It's literally instant death for the most. But when you get the sword yourself, you're penalised for using it because it lowers the attack depending on how much you've sinned. So if you look at your player status and it says that you're a sinner, you're going to have diminished scaling. So you can't do anything sinful if you want to get the most out of that weapon. It's a very strange one, and the strength bonuses on it, the scaling's not that impressive. I've got a build that uses it, and I'm looking forward to finding if there is actually a reason to use it, because as it stands, it's one of those kind of gimp weapons that people are only going to use if they want a real challenge against another human being. But there goes the Sinner. Not a clean fight by any standards, but you'll notice I didn't use the hexes. If you use the hex on that fight, she will die very quickly. Something to note as well, this was recorded before the patch, so everything in this walkthrough should be pre-patch, which should help some people who are having trouble, because there's certain bosses that have been massively nerfed for some strange reason. But thank you for watching, and you take care now.